What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the overall markets. I'm going to break down some key levels to watch for and what's going on with the trends so far. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. Anyways, some news came out that President Trump has met up with Fed Chair Jerome-Powell today to talk about interest rates. Obviously, President Trump is not happy with the way Jerome-Powell is doing things, and he's trying to incentivize him to cut more. But Jerome-Powell mentioned that he is not trying to be political, and he's doing what he deems is best for the US economy. He is talking about the warnings of higher inflation and higher unemployment still, and he believes it's very necessary for the Fed to keep rates as is. Now, this is still leading to criticism for Jerome Powell because many people would argue that Jerome Powell is basically waiting for a disaster before he starts cutting, waiting for things to start breaking. But, we'll just have to see what happens, at least moving forward. Will we see another big surge in inflation like many forecasters are predicting, or will we not see that? We'll just have to wait. There is a risk of that given what's happening, at least globally, with supply chains. So we'll see. But I just want to say that as of right now, this didn't really change anything. I know President Trump is expressing his dismay towards Powell, but simultaneously, Jerome Powell is not going to budge just like that. He still wants to, once again, do what's necessary by trying to support maximum employment and stable prices while trying to be objective and kind of take politics out of the question. So that's what Jerome Powell has been talking about. Heading into tomorrow, guys, I want to warn you all that we have PCE data coming out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This may cause some volatility an hour before the market opens. PCE is very similar to CPI, so it may cause a big move. Whether we see a big bounce tomorrow or if we get a big rug pull, hopefully we get a bounce if we hold support, but we'll see just to be safe. Also, we have the Michigan Consumer Sentiment data at 10 a.m. Finally, we also have Costco announcing earnings after market close today. That's going to be important because just like companies like Target, right? Target told us that they are anticipating higher prices in the next couple of months. So we'll see if Costco tells us the same thing. Are they going to be expecting to increase their prices in the next upcoming months or not? So we'll listen to see what they have to say and how their earnings ends up going. We'll see what happens with their guidances and what they tell us about prices. That could be very important for the markets as well. Anyways, with that being said, what do I see for the markets? It's very simple. So I know SPY dipped a bit, but even though we pumped and dumped, here's the thing about SPY. We're still technically on an uptrend. We're making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. And we even made a new high today, technically, before getting a small rejection. So what has to happen to SPY is very, very simple. So if you want to be a bear, you want to see SPY lose this low at this 585 to 588 area. If that fails us, I could see us dumping to fill the gap towards 578. But if you want to be a bull, as you guys could tell, we're still technically on a much larger uptrend. If we hold 588 by tomorrow after PCE data comes out, we could continue to bounce, make an attempt for 600. If we hold 588 and we get a decent PCE and a nice bounce for tomorrow. When it comes to President Trump's tariffs, obviously the courts did kind of like rule against them, but what's going on is President Trump and his team are appealing, and they're arguing that it's not going to matter because the tariffs will still be imposed, everything's going to go as planned. That's what they're trying to say right now, so we'll see how that goes. Right now the battle in the courts is just going to continue, so we're just seeing this legal battle for the time being, and we'll see if the superior courts get involved or more of them get involved. So we'll see how that goes, but that's what we're seeing at least so far. So keep in mind, with what's going on right now, we're going to see if SPY can hold this support and try to get a rebound right here. We have to bounce right here off this critical support. This is going to depend on PCE. If we do get that bounce, I do expect us to try to get back up to 595. But if we lose 588, there's that gap to fill. So it could go either way. Hopefully, hold support and we try to get a bounce. So we'll see. On the QQQ, it's the same thing. So if the QQQ loses 515, we're going to be looking for a bigger dump. As long as we're above 518 at the least, this could try to rebound for at least 525. This is going to depend on PCE data, so we'll see just to be safe. Hopefully we get a bounce. On the IWM, it's the same thing. If we end up losing 204, we're looking for that gap fill to 202. There's a little bit of weakness here, but we're trying to hold support simultaneously, so we're range bound. If we hold support, we're looking for a bounce to 208, and I do hope that happens. ES is making higher lows here. We need to try to hold 5,900. If that holds, we're looking for an attempt to get back up to 5,950, so give that some time as well. For NQ, we have 21,300 is the main support. If that fails us, we're looking for 21,200. We need to hold this and try to rebound for 21,500 as our next potential target. Bitcoin is looking weaker. We're looking for 105,500 as our main support, so give that some time to see if that holds. And then for Tesla, we have a double top here, but we need to see Tesla bounce near 353 to 355 in that range. If we could hold that, we're looking for a rebound move. But if we lose 353, I do think Tesla could be dipping to at least 347. There's a double top here, so it's a little bit more like weak in that sense, but we haven't lost key support at 355 yet. So as of right now, we're just range bound between 355 and 368. Nvidia dipped quite a bit, but we have to try to get back above 138 and hold that, then eventually try to get back above 140. As long as 138 holds, we could try to bounce, but if we lose that, we're going to be at risk of dipping towards 135. So hopefully we hold 138. Apple's at 198, the main support we have to bounce and get back up to 201 plus. So keep that in mind. AMD is also sort of rejecting here off a double top here, so we could be dipping to 111.5. Coinbase is getting rejection. We need to get back above 251. Otherwise, we could be dipping to 245. Amazon is rejecting. We need to try to hold 205. If this holds, we could try to bounce to 208. But if we lose this, we could be dipping a lot more. For Meta, we need to hold 640 to bounce. If we can't, we could be dipping more as well. On Google, as long as we're above 172, I'm looking for a bounce for 175. If we failed, we're looking for 168 though, so we'll see if that holds. On Microsoft, I want to see 456 hold to bounce higher. If not, we could be dipping to fill this gap. So overall, we're doing a fantastic job. The VIX is looking kind of weak here, so if this gets a rejection, this could be a sign the market's about to get a bounce. It depends on if we hold support, and also depends on our PCE data for tomorrow. So we'll see if the market gets a big bounce by tomorrow as we have this data. So we'll see, guys. I like to be optimistic, but simultaneously we have to be realistic, and we'll see how well we hold the levels. Yes, we dipped a little bit, but we haven't lost critical support yet on SPY or the QQQ. So we'll see if we get that bounce. Anyways, I thank you for listening. I'll keep you guys updated on what happens with Costco's earnings and other factors. Until then, I thank you for listening and peace out.